Yes, good evening once again, and welcome to yet another interesting program. And good evening, diaspora. Good evening, Africa. Welcome to Africa 24 Frontline Politics. I am your host, Mzalendo, and tonight we are diving deep into the unsettling events unfolding in Homabay County, starting with the shocking assassination attempt on the deputy governor. But this isn't just about one incident, it's about a storm brewing within ODM, a party once seen as a symbol of reform, now facing internal violence, fear, and factionalism. We also unpack the recent remarks by Raila Odinga's brother, Oburu Odinga, a veteran in Kenyan politics, who openly questioned the stability of a broad based government, casting a long shadow over the future of Raila Ruto handshake and the Azimio Kenya Kwanza alignment. With me in the studio is none other than Brother Ben, a political thinker, activist, and no stranger to the rough waters of Kenyan politics. Karibu, Brother Ben.
How are you doing Mr. Mzalendo? Natumai uko vizuri. Nashukuru kwa kunialika asubuhi ya leo.
Always a pleasure to have you here, especially at a time when the truth needs to be spoken boldly.
Yes.
Yeah, and I mean, American time and yesterday, Kenyan time, we got news of assassination attempt of one Oyugi Magwanga, the deputy governor for Homabay. Let's begin with the story that is has shaken Homabay. You know, just recently they buried Ongondowere, who was the MP for Kasipul. So the deputy governor narrowly escaped an attempt on his life. Gunmen ambushed his vehicle near Kindube, I don't know, while investigations are still going on. The silence of senior members of the county officials, the ODM leadership is deafening. Brother Ben, what do you make of this incident?
You know, it's so much scary, especially the deputy governor. You know, when you look at somebody in the stature or somebody in the rank of deputy governor, is person that is security should be guaranteed. And if you listen to his narration on how he escaped, because actually he from his own narration, he said that he had an intel, and the intel he had, this is just a continuation of intel he had even prior, before the burial of even the late member of parliament, the late Honorable Were.
Mm-hmm.
And it can be very scary, as I said earlier, because, you know, even Ongondo Were himself at some point came out, the late Ongondo Were came out and said that he complained about his security, but what happened after that, after, you know, he lost his life. So that is something that should be looked into seriously, and I hope and believe that the security apparatus are have taken the charge, and, you know, and do investigation, and at least to find the motives of those guys who exchange fire with the security of the deputy governor. So that is what I can say. And also, maybe when we will continue, we have to look at, because now Homabay now is getting into the books of politics as a place for political violence.
Mm-hmm.
And you ask yourself, why should we engage in such in a political violence? Because, you know, there's so many stories that are being said, there are so many stories that has been written about the Homa Bay, and you ask yourself, does it mean that there are no activities that are can be or economic uh, values or economic activities that can be brought into the county so that
Mm-hmm.
the young people can get employment. I think the other day we were talking with you, and I told you like Omabay is one of those counties that one it touches the lake, you know. So it means when it comes to fish processing, Homa Bay can do well. I
Mm-hmm.
told you the other day, Homa Bay has one of the best pineapples, especially when you are in Olare. Olare is known to be producing one of the best pineapples in the country. But remember, we don't have any processing company in Homa Bay. We also have Kabondo that always produce one of the best potatoes. We I don't know how the mechanism and strategies that have been put in place, especially in Onabay, to when they're exporting, do farmers get value on what they're exporting? So instead of putting violence to be as the order of the day, let us find a way of how to construct these companies so that they can create employment for the locals. So Oma Bay, they should the leadership of Oma Bay should sit down and restructure their way of thinking that violence is not the right way to go. Let's compete
Mm-hmm.
on ideas. Let's compete on ideologies. Let's compete on good visions. Let's not be a county where violence thrive. So that is for the people of Homa Bay.
I think you're absolutely right, and Oma Bay has got a potential. You look at the hospitality industry; it is something that can really thrive. But uh, this kind of violence will not attract any kind of business. And I hope
Mm.
the governor is listening, and the leadership of Oma Bay is listening, especially the elected leaders.
Yeah,
They take things for granted, and they are all. Most of the time, they just stamp about party politics and
yeah.
ODM, that kind of thing that they talk about all the time. But
Mm.
very few times they look at the plight of the people and the potential of Oma Bay.
Mhm.
Now, I see this assassination attempt was not just, it's not a robbery. It was the life of the deputy governor being targeted. And
Yes.
remember, one thing that the deputy governor narrated that is very sad. And remember, the governor was the one coordinating the funeral of the late Ongondowere.
Mm.
The contribution that he made towards that funeral was returned to him.
What? Mhm.
Yeah, I am telling you, his contribution was returned, and the governor didn't talk about it.
That is quite much interesting, and
Eh?
that one is quite much interesting, and that one is pointing you know, in politics, as such uh, issue to happen, you know, it begs questions more than answers. And now, even in terms of traditions, in the traditions, you know, when you do contribution, yeah, this a
Mhm.
contribution is a way of you also, first of all, it's a way of grieving, like say that this is at this moment, maybe have this, it can help you in future, or it can assist you with visitors who are coming, you know. And if deputy governor can contribute and that is rejected, it points out that the Homa Bay County, the leadership is not working together.
Yeah, it is
They,
deeply intertwined in this wrangle.
mhm.
You see, I call it pressure cooker.
Yeah,
You know, a pressure cooker
yeah,
where everybody is there, and there's a politics of betrayal,
yeah,
politics of succession. There is also killing in that particular county.
yes,
Today, Brother Ben, as we speak, there are so many. If you go to my constituency where I come from,
yes,
and then I go to your constituency, you'll find people with missing limbs. Somebody doesn't have one hand. Somebody doesn't have a piece of their nose, a piece of their ear.
mm,
somebody has got a bullet launched in his leg.
yeah.
Those are the stories in Homabay. And the funny thing, it is not a community against another community. It is Luos against Luos.
And you ask yourself, if your main role as a leader is to lead people and to assist the people to overcome the challenges that they are going through, and the people that are going through those challenges are the same people who are meeting their deaths or their limbs are missing. So who are you going to lead in the event that umewatoa wote, you've taken them out of the equation? Who are you going to lead? But what kind of leadership is that? Because that kind of leadership is
Let me tell you another funny story I had.
yeah,
You see, the late Ogai Mamilambo, this guy.
yeah.
So this guy, whenever there was a funeral, he would come with his goons. Uh,
Mm,
if there is a funeral in the area, and he never used to miss funerals. It's a fun, and most of the ODM leaders don't miss funerals. They love funerals. So this guy comes when he comes in a funeral, he comes with that trumpet.
mm,
They call it in Luo poro.
mhm,
And then he circles around the homestead, chanting ODM slogans,
mm,
around. So ole wako kama wewe si mwanachama eh?
mm,
That day nakwambia, either you run for your life or you can't be in that particular place. So
mm,
these leaders, that is what they're used to. Yeah. And
y- mm,
the deputy governor is known to be a part of an emerging anti-establishment of the county.
mm,
Now, is fighting for accountability, is criticizing corruption silently.
mhm.
But all I wish Oyugi Magwanga could come out and tell us what he's talking about, because there's a lot of whispers down there that he wants to vie for the governorship of Omabay. Remember, Magwanga in the last election was actually stepped down from his ambitions after being approached by the leadership of ODM to be part of Gladys Wanga's team as a deputy.
But what
Now,
could have been the reason? What could have been the reason? That is something that also, what could have been the reason?
the reason is Wanga was given a direct ticket.
Yes.
Yeah.
And what was the reason of even her being given a direct ticket?
Being given a direct ticket is a connection to the power B.
Mm, mm,
That is the reason why she was given a direct ticket. Had she gone for uh, a nomination process, then she would most likely have lost to Magwanga. On a free and fair nomination, she would have lost terribly to Oyugi Magwanga, because Magwanga comes with a record. He's not your normal politician. He was number one uh, in uh, in the constituency uh, appraisals. And again, the funny thing, after being denied to present whatever he wanted to present at Ongondowere's funeral, people should know that this was the former MP for that area. It is indeed Ongondowere is the one who took over from Oyugi Magwanga when he decided to run
mm.
for governorship.
Yeah.
So, and many times I've watched a clip. I've been digging deep down the politics in that particular area.
Yeah.
I downloaded a clip where the late was saying that he wants to be judged by what the former did and what he did in his term in 7 years, and you'll find that he has done more than the deputy governor. and they warned the people that they will not joke this time around
Yeah.
with anybody who is trying to disrespect the ODM leader, and they will not allow them to
Mhm.
even sit in a dais with them. So there is a lot, when we talk about broad-based government where we have ODM donating their experts, and some of the ODM members publicly saying that we are now in government. People like Kaluma and all that, they're saying we are now in government. But a section of them are saying we are not in government and we will not work with the government. And our president is Raila Odinga. Probably there are chances that he might even run in 2027. What
Th- th-
exactly is happening here?
those are there, but before we go there, I want to talk something about the deputy governor. You know, running to the election of 2022, there was a negotiation that
Mhm.
took place, and I can remember all the aspirants who were vying for governorship. I think there was a meeting that they were required to attend, and I think among those who refused to attend was Honorable Kidero. You know, Kidero did not attend, but all those who attended, I think they were in agreement that the Honorable Gladys Wanga was supposed to be given, or is going to be given, the direct nomination. Then Magwanga, the Honorable Magwanga, the deputy governor, who was going to be given the position of the deputy governor. But you come and ask yourself, is there any aspiration in terms of politics? Is there something they share together, the deputy governor and the governor? And that's where the problem usually comes. You know, if two people are coming together who do not share the same value, the same kind of like leadership styles, it will not work. And that's why you get to hear about the things to do with impeachment. Why do you want to impeach your deputy? Based on what his at the press are there, they're saying that there are rumors that about impeachment. And the same thing has happened when you look at Siaya. You know, Oduol came much later in the day, especially to become uh, His Excellency Orengo deputy governor. Because if you look at the polls, then um, um, who is Gumbo and Charles, the child Charles, the former police spokesperson, they were leading in the polls, especially in the major areas in Siaya, and it was it was seen, or it was very obvious that the Gumbo and Charles were going to win. But what happened? Charles had to get back his appointment. He went back to work with the government. So Gumbo had to choose somebody in the media fraternity, which actually ruined everything. And uh, Oduol had to be brought in to deputize Orengo. And the reason for Oduol being deputizing Orengo is not that they had the same political views, no, in terms of leading, but it was the number that Oduol was bringing, because Oduol was popular in Siaya. So he was bringing the number. And I think that is also what happened with Magwanga. Magwanga was just brought in. He was told to become a deputy president, I mean deputy governor, not because
Mhm.
they share anything common in terms of political and leadership, but because the number that he was bringing, the
Mhm.
numerical power that was behind him, in
Yeah,
terms
because
of, yeah,
mhm.
yeah, where it comes from. There's that constituency in Homabay that usually determines who becomes the governor in
Yeah,
terms
and
of the
and
numerical
yeah,
number.
Magwanga comes from that constituency. That
Yeah,
you're absolutely right. You're
so
on point.
that's the main reason. So, and immediately now you get into the office. Now you forget about everything, because like your ideology and types of leadership cannot match, because maybe somebody wants to be based on the history of Magwanga, on how, what you said about he has worked and how his development or track record in terms of development is well known. Maybe
Y-
you want to come with that theory.
You
Oh,
know what people are
yeah.
not talking about in
Yeah.
the politics in Nyanza.
Mhm.
It is not about the politics of bringing development, or the politics of looking at the way we were seeing, like, oh, Baba has got a bigger war that is going to fight up there, and he needs people who are aligned to him. We are past that. Now,
Mhm.
the war that, with all the information that we have been pushing, the war that is in Homabay and many other counties, is that people are fighting for resources, control of the resources. If you see an MCA moving to become an MP, what they are looking for is the control of the CDF, NGAF CDF money. If you look at a DJ coming in to run for in a county that probably is working well, but in this case it's not,
Yeah.
then it is all about it's not about the politics, but it is about the control over the resources and the 2027 alignments. Yeah.
But but Mzalendo, what you look at, is not only in Homa Bay, even in Migori. To say, we've seen cases whereby the leaders, they are not in agreement, and
Now look at
all,
look at
all
Migori. You come from Migori. What are they doing? I've never seen anything that, at least Abe, you are seeing some things. The national government is doing one or two things in Omabe, but I
you
have
know,
not seen anything that is happening in Migori. Any? Are we missing something here?
I think there's so much disconnect about the leaders and the people, because the other time I've seen two incidences whereby, and this is typically between the Uriri MP and the governor. Sometimes everywhere they meet, you know, it's going to be chaotic. Eh?
Now that is now Ben.
Yeah,
These guys belong to the same political party, if I'm not wrong.
yeah, they are from same political party.
So when will Baba say when will Baba bring an end to the violence in ODM party? When will
Uh,
he just come and stamp his authority and say enough is enough with you fellows?
because
Yeah.
I don't know, because I can remember there was a funeral. It was a guy around Rapogi area. It was
Hmm.
called Kaspal. Kaspal was burying the wife, you know, and that Rapogi area just is exactly next to, is within where Max Nyamita come from, the Uriri constituency. That is like next to his home. Is that within the sub county, and even the, like, it's a walking distance, you know, and things were just normal. They came, but I don't know, when governor came, hell broke loose. And remember, you're burying your loved one. That one ended like that, and we thought things would settle down. But still, if the other time also I saw in Rongo what happened, and like people are just fighting. The other day it was in Migori soccer. There was a soccer that was uh, they're playing,
Hmm.
and I don't know what happened. And I saw some of the people who were escorting governor there. I was having this room, and the governor said that I don't know what the governor said, and he said he just requested them to be played. Mimi niteleza weka I don't know, mate mlangoni, and you ask yourself, is the same people that you are fighting you want to lead are the same people that sometimes are um, being the casualties. Mm? So I don't know where this idea of creeping the politics of violence, whereby people cannot compete on good ideology. Let us compete on ideas. Because okay,
No,
what?
no, this begs the question.
Yeah.
Leaders are supposed to work together. Do these ODM leaders, can they really even sit in one table and say that, okay, this is what we want to do for our county without a war? And, they are from the same political party. This is replicated in the ward reps and every other person. The ward reps cannot tolerate anybody who is coming to challenge them. It is not normal to them that, in leadership you have to be challenged. I think there should be some normalcy that they should know that when you are elected
Mhm,
to represent as an area,
mhm.
you have a term limit of 5 years. Then
Yes.
after that, then you tell us we go for elections. That is
Mhm,
normal. I think that you need to be reminded, and each and every time you have to have competition. people competing against you unless you have done some wonderful job. It is normal to compete against Gladys Wanga. It is normal to compete against MCAs like Omoginda and everybody else. It is normal to compete. It is normal. It is normal to compete against ward chief. It is normal to compete against Lillian Gogo. It is normal to compete against Junet Mohammed. It is a normal competition. It
But
is
why?
normal. They should take it normal. It is not a matter of war, because these are people from one family. They are fighting for representation. Yeah.
But if you're fighting for representation, which is okay, but at what point does it reach whereby now it is that if I'm competing against you, yeah, but instead of us competing in ideas, the first thing that we think of is the superiority. Who is the more superior? And superior in terms of when we meet, we know we are going to meet and we have to come with all these crude weapons and beat one another. At the end of the day, we go back home as leaders and we watch those TV or those things happening, and then you say that you're offering good leadership. I think it is high time they came back to their senses, and this idea of violence, it doesn't help. Like right now, for instance, take about in Migori, what is happening. Sony is in Migori County, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
and Sony has been leased, is among the sugar factory that has been leased for almost 30 years, including the Moroni, yeah.
Mm.
I've not heard the MPs from the larger Migori County complaining. You see people like Natembea complaining about what happened. They're saying that that thing was done unconstitutionally. There was no public participation. But I've not seen MPs from
I
Migori.
am telling you, it. Let me tell you, it is sad. The kind of leaders that we have in Nyanza, Luo Nyanza,
Mm,
it is pathetic.
mm,
Let us, that is just one example. When you see people in parliament, other MPs talking about their area, you hear people talking about Kawaetu. You
mm.
hear people like Salasia, people one-time MPs, yeah, talking about Mumia's sugar with a lot of passion. Yeah, the
Yeah.
industries that affect their people. How many times have you seen these MPs talking about even the fish industry?
And if you look at Nyanza,
The government sometimes gives loans to farmers and the fish farmers.
you know what is
Where hmm?
what is happening. This one I cannot even blame the national government, but this one will fall squarely on the leaders, especially
It's
from Nyanza.
leaders, it's leadership, lack of leadership.
Look at what we have. Go
Hmm?
to Migori. Yeah, Migori, we have gold mine in Nyatike. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
but when you go to the gold mine and the people who are mining, does it reflect that they have natural resources? When you go to the same Migori, there's a place on your way from Nyatike, you're coming to Migori. They produce very good mangoes. By the way, I don't know how we call it, but now how can we put added value advantage on uh, those things like mangoes? That is one. Migori, Homabay, Kisumu, all these are confronting the lake. Yeah, but do we have even fish processing company in those areas where
No,
we don't have? And
no.
every time when we go, every time we elect them, somebody has been elected for 15 years. They've been elected for more than 15 years, and we've not seen any company. Actually, I ever since I've not seen a new company or a new company that has come into place that our leaders, especially to touch on, things that are very tangible. We talk of pineapple in Olare. We grew up, now sisi tuko hapa wakubwa, tunajua hapo Olare ukienda lazima usimame upate pineapple. Ukikuja Kabondo lazima ukuje uchukue hizo the sweet potato. But
Mm-hmm.
who is advocating for that? I've never seen even members of parliament advocating for good prices for the tobacco that is being done in Migori in a large scale. When did they negotiate for the good prices? Because that is what should be done. You don't have to take it to parliament, but you have to talk to the BAT and say that if you don't do it for our people, then we will not be planting.
Today a friend of mine, after seeing what happened to Magwanga. I saw him sending me a text telling me he's from Western. Nyinyi Wajaluo hata mjapata presidency, yani na mna behave na vitu kidogo kidogo kama hii, ndio
Mm.
kichwa yenyu imeruka kichwa imeruka, yani mmepata viti 4, kichwa imeruka, hata mjui yani ni nini mnafaa kufanya. You are
Uh,
fighting, youths are being hired. Youth are being hired, youth are being used. Yani youth kazi yake ni anangojea mheshimiwa atoke Nairobi, when they have a function wanaitiwa, hey, I need security,
mm.
kuja niko na function.
Yeah, I have a function,
I have a
and
function. I need security. Then they're given some 2,000 bob or 1,000 shilling to come very very armed, ready to fight other youth from the same area. But
do
this
you
is
know the reason why?
Mhm.
That we've never held our leaders accountable for what we do not have one-on-one conversation. It is very rare to find that the leaders are having even town hall meetings. The only time they have town hall meetings is when now like budget is coming, they're telling you we'll be having public participation.
Mhm.
But it is always required that when a member of parliament comes home, you need to have these town hall meetings. Talk to your people, you know, talk to your constituents. What do you want us to do? Where are we not doing? Where are we doing right, and where are we doing it wrong? And what are the modalities
You
and
you you
strategies we can
you
put in
know,
place?
this is a conversation that we are having right now,
Yeah,
and it's something that should go down to the grassroots,
yeah.
because our leaders are obsessed with national politics. Yeah, and they forget the people who elected them, the people they represent.
Yeah.
If you go back to all the leaders, what they've been talking about is
Mhm.
national politics. Who is going to be the president? Who are we going to support in 2027? Either they are either insulting one Gashagwa or even Matiangi, anything that opposes the establishment, but they don't look at. I wish they were attacking poverty that is in Nyanza region,
Mhm.
that is making youths line up each and every time a politician is there, and what the politician just stamps that, today I'm going to give you all, everybody who has come here
Mhm.
will get 1,000 or 500 or 200 bob. you
Yeah.
know that is the kind of leadership that they know. But
Mm.
this money that they are giving, isn't it the same money that William Ruto is giving to churches, or this other guys?
No, no. It's a transactional politics. Our politics is transactional.
Hmm?
It thrives on money. You give money. That's how it is usually done,
Ben,
because
let me and let me ask you. So sorry to interrupt.
yeah.
In your area, have you
Mhm.
ever seen the leaders coming? All the leaders of Nyanza that today they have a very big arambe. They want to build a school.
And nowadays I'm seeing them because like there's also a poster that I saw. I think
Hmm?
it's going to be in Migori. I saw one with CS Mbadi will be there. I saw a poster like that.
Are they building a school or a church?
I think it's a church.
Exactly. I'm telling you, a school.
Si kwanza ni maombi.
Hakuna kitu kama hiyo bwana. Hizi churches ziko mingi sana. You can pray anywhere. Unaweza omba mali yote ile Mungu atakusikiza mali yote. But you see, why do you build a church worth millions of shillings, yet schools hata ECD class hawezi tengeneza?
Let me tell you what happened.
It
I think
doesn't make sense.
it happened in Uganda. There was
Hmm?
a leader. It recently. I don't know whether you saw that news. There was a leader in Uganda who was sick, and I think he had cancer. And he went abroad and went for through chemo, and he came back and he said that God has healed him,
Mm-hmm.
and he built a very, very, very expensive church in Uganda
Mm-hmm.
just to say thank you to the Lord.
Mm-hmm.
But that made me thinking, one, you've gone out. for treatment.
Mm-hmm.
One of the things that says, it says that maybe your country does not have the facility for the treatment. Yeah. So after knowing that the country does not have facility, what is the best way that you can do
Is it to be? Is it
to
to
build
build
the
a
church,
church or to be
or to try to
build a
build
cancer facility in
a
your area?
facility or a research facility, a research center that might work on how to treat what you underwent, so that people do not fly to go out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So it tells you how sometimes we think, you know, kuomba Mungu iko. That is something that we should not take away. We can go to church and pray. That's okay. But like now, when you compare that analogy that he used to say that God has really hid, so I'm building God a church with all that money, why can't you put it even to facilitate our hospitals, the hospitals in Uganda? I don't know whether you saw that.
I didn't see that. I didn't see that. But that is happening all over in Africa, even here in Kenya. That's what our leaders are doing. They're pumping 20 million, yet yet a biopsy is being done in South Africa. Biopsy is being done in uh, in uh, in labs in India.
Yeah.
Um, Cancer path treatment is coming all the way from South Africa or India, while we are wasting a lot of money on useless activities every weekend, every Sunday.
Yeah.
But anyway, brother Ben, ODM has lost its
No,
moral center.
but
Hmm?
the reason why I will not go for the party.
Mm.
I want to go for individual, those who are seeking the mandate in the office. It is a
Mhm.
requirement as a leader. You should know that we thrive. Politics of violence does not thrive. It doesn't build. One of the things that you should do, you should look at the county. You are all leaders. You say that what can we do? It's not an issue of governor of what, because I'm seeing that it's not the issue of governor, but it's the issue of how can we have a healthy politics, a politics that is not judged on the strength, a politics that does not thrive on violence. If violence happens, how are you going to deal? How are we bringing those who are creating violence in that particular area? You know, and you see that violence now reaches a point whereby even the deputy governor, um, he's he's being trailed. He got an intel. You know, so let's sema kwamba umemuua, ndio hiyo tuseme kwamba alikuwa amepatikana hapo akauliwa, atazikwa. Baada ya kuzikwa utaachieve nini? What will you achieve? What will you achieve?
Baada ya kuzika
Eh,
uh,
tunasema kwamba labda ndio hiyo venye deputy governor alikuwa, kuna watu ambao walikuwa wanamtafuta akawaepa. Tuseme kwamba ndio hiyo sasa aliuliwa, akauliwa, akazikwa, mambo ikaenda. Wewe mtu amefanya hivyo, imekusaidia nini? Hata hao wenye waliua huyu mbunge imewasaidia nini saizi?
asiela walipata pesa. Unajua, the youths people are desperate, they want to make money, quick money, and that is the situation where we are. People are desperate. They
But
can do anything.
that
Hmm?
youth did not come like tell anybody. That come to you and said, okay, I want you to give me this job. You're the person who looked for him.
You see, but I don't know whether you are getting as a feeling that young people in Nyanza are being forced to align to a certain political ideology, and they want to be locked there. And if they have an opportunity to, they don't have an opportunity to think outside what the political leader is offering. They can't even challenge the leadership. They can't challenge the leadership. They can't, like in this case, you go see in areas where there are no roads at all, at all. Right now, it's raining. Most places in Nyanza, it's impossible. You cannot go home right now. There are no roads. Literally, there are no roads. Uh, the sugarcane is no longer being harvested because those trucks cannot even use those particular roads. But youths are not addressing their leaders. They're not telling their leaders. They're not asking for accountability.
Because the leaders doesn't want to be accountable.
Hmm?
They don't want you to be accountable. That's why when you want to when you want to ask them, they will give you money. And once they give you money, pesa ni sabuni ya roho, inasafisha kabisa, then you forget.
Pesa ni sabuni ya
Sabuni ya roho.
Now, some say that violence is about succession and 2027 power plays.
Yeah,
Is Luo Nyanza vote still solid under Raila Odinga? Do you think Raila Odinga has got the grasp of Luo Nyanza vote?
I think he still do.
Hmm?
I think he does.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Raila still, even though, sometimes people do say that, okay, this time around, but Raila still has a command. Raila still has a command.
I have a different opinion. Yes, he has a command, but the grip is weakening.
Yeah, that it's fading off, but like still,
Mm-hmm.
not to that extent.
It's I don't know which extent you're talking about because we don't have a measure, but the grip is not as it used to be,
You
especially
know,
now that he's not running. If suppose he's not running,
if Raila doesn't
don't you
run,
feel that there are people who are tired of the kind of politics?
yeah, people are tired, yes, but what I know,
Don't you
or
feel that people are tired of your governor?
let me tell you what usually happens in politics. Not everybody can get tired of the governor. It depends on who you're working with and who you're not working with. Those who you're working with will always praise you. And this one, even you're seeing it in the national government. I mean, the national politics. How many people, when they are given opportunity to talk, especially about the president, they will talk negatively. Yeah, because they don't share the leadership of president and they feel the president is not doing a good job.
Ndugu yangu Ben, unakumbuka kulikuwa na chama inaitwa KANU,
Yeah, KANU,
chama cha baba na mama.
eh,
Chama cha baba na mama. Unakumbuka kulikuwa na watu wanaitwa Olo Waringo,
yeah,
kulikuwa na watu wanaitwa Mulu Mutisia, walikuwa wanaimba kila saa, chama ni KANU, tingisha kidole.
Ujaongelea sana Joseph Kamodho.
Joseph Kamodho, kale kamutu kafupi, tingisha kidole moja. Unakumbuka kulikuwa na hiyo chama? Siku za mwisho, and those people are called, in a political party, they are called gatekeepers. These Junet people, those are gatekeepers of ODM. These gatekeepers, Gladys Wanga, the late Gorowere, those are gatekeepers. You will never remove them from the party. Even if you win a nomination, utanyang'anywa, because those are the gatekeepers of the party. But siku zao za mwisho ole yao, just go back and watch the KANU final days. Watu walikuwa naimba baba na mama, mwishowe ilifika tamati.
Sasa
Kukakuwa na viongozi wengine na chama zingine zikakuja.
Sasa unajua hiyo inaweza
tafakari hayo,
enda itafakari. Haya, sawa, basi tuache hiyo tena, tuende kwa ingine tusikie lakini kitu ambacho nawarai sana sana najaribu kuwarai watu ambao sana sana watu wa Homabay, Migori na sehemu zingine za nchi ambao inakuwa na ghasia kwa sababu ya uchaguzi, violence. I don't think like with where we are right now, kwa hii karne bado nataka kushinda kwa ghasia. Nchi yezi endelea na ghasia, ama county yezi endelea na ghasia. Wacha tushindane kwa hoja na tushindane kwa sera. Ukuje na sera yako, mimi kuja na sera yangu, tuuzie wananchi. Wananchi wenyewe waamue, ukishindwa kwa sababu tunataka kufanyia kazi wananchi, ukubali na unisaidie, ulete yale ulikuwa nayo unataka kufanyia, kuja
Mhm.
tuungane pamoja, tupate wananchi wakuwe na na vitu ambazo zinawasaidia. Unaona,
Ah,
unapata kwamba watu wanapigana kwa siasa, na unapata vitu muhimu tu, vitu venye ni muhimu
mm,
wananchi bado wanakosa. Sasa unashindwa eh?
mm.
Unajua, kama uongozi hawezi leta mabadiliko, hakuna haja wewe kama kiongozi ukuwe hapo. Kama kuna
Wow.
mabadiliko ambayo unafanya,
Mm.
hakuna haja, haufai kuwa kiongozi.
Mhm.
Yeah, hivyo
Haya.
ndio. Yeah.
Haya, brother Ben, hufai kuwa kiongozi. Kama unatutazama ukiwa kule nyumbani, hii ni Afrique 24 na leo ni Nyanza Pulse Afrique 24, kwenda kule kwa mtandao, make sure umesubscribe na umelike, na pia uende pale kwa brother Ben media usubscribe na ulike, so that tuende sabamba. Kama kuna hizi show unaweza ziona live ukipatiwa top notch analysis ya siasa bila kuogopa, kwa sababu wengi ukiangalia kwa mtandao, wale mnaita maanalyst wa chama, kuna vitu wanaogopa kusema, lakini hapa tutakwambia yote yale yanasemwa chini ya meza,
Mhm.
na yale yako juu ya meza, na yale pia zimefichwa
Yeah.
na
Mm.
tunaweza ziona kwa umbali.
Mm.
Brother Ben,
Yes.
Oburu Odinga recently said, we don't even know. Kijana mdongo alisema we don't even know if this government will last, or if Raila Odinga will be sidelined again. That
Ah,
statement was very heavy.
ah,
Mhm. Is it a
unajua,
warning sign ama ni nini, ama ni kutuchezea akili tu?
no, let me tell you what Daktari alisema. I quote, we shall work with them until 2027, is referring to the UDA. Yeah,
Uh,
this is what the youth leader say. We will work with them until 2027, and if we recognize that we work well, we shall agree. If not, we shall part ways, Dr. Oburu Odinga asserted. That was Oburu said. So, and one of the things that we should look, especially when Oburu is speaking, Honorable Oburu is not an ordinary. First is Raila's brother. Secondly, he has a major say in the party.
mm-hmm.
So, my question to 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 Oburu, how will you know that you have achieved? That you have achieved? How? What are you going to measure? Because are you going to look it regionally, or you are going to look at entire country?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, if you're going to look at it regionally, then you will be basing on the Nyanza politics, whereby there this narrative that is usually say that now we are in government, you know. And if you listen even to what Mbadi says and Opia Wandai on the allocation that they're going to do on the Nyanza, the development they want to bring. The other day I listened to the senator of Migori say that this is a good thing. We've never felt like the way we felt, and now we are going to get the development. And you ask yourself, how? When are we going to realize until you feel part of the government, or is only this your region that is going to feel uh, the government, yet other regions and the entire country are complaining how times are hard? How are you going to do that? So the main reason I might say that Uburu might be bringing this, there's this narrative that especially what Badi and Wandai are preaching, yeah, especially when it comes to resources, that these people are trying to fight me so that I can get out of the government. So because when you look at how they speak, because they're not CSS for Nyanza region, they're CS for the entire country. So which means they should serve everywhere or everybody in the country equally. Yeah, you should not talk about one region, that this is where you're going to pump the money, or this is what the plans you have for this region. So I think by Dr. Oburu coming in, Oburu is just trying to wipe that. He might be trying to wipe that narrative. That is two. One. Secondly, I think Oburu also is is trying to hold together the support base of ODM. Yeah,
Mhm.
and tell them, just reminding them now we are working as we work, as we work, we are taking notes. Yeah, it's just encouraging people, let's work. As we work, we are taking notes. By 2027, if we feel that you've not done well, we can leave anytime we want, or we can support you. Yeah. So for those who have a dissenting view, or for those who do not want to support the broad-based government, you are just reminded, yeah, let's go together. We are not tied. We are, what is guiding us is the development that we are doing. If we are satisfied that they've performed well, the UDA has done well, then we will support them. And
Uh,
if we don't,
mhm.
so how will you know that they performed well? That is
Yeah,
my
yeah,
question.
they keep on talking about the 10 pointers that they gave William Ruto. And for me, I feel this is a warning sign that the ODM fraternity feel frustrated. They feel frustrated. There's a deeper frustration that they're not talking about by William Ruto's government. So they are in that coalition, Shingo Pande, and such remarks could definitely destabilize the grand coalition.
Let me tell you, ODM are not frustrated in this broad-based government. Let me
Hmm.
tell you, they are very comfortable.
Now, the other thing, Brother Ben,
Mhm.
there are whispers that the ODM party, they really want the position for Raymond Omolo. That's a rumor that has been going on. I don't know whether you've heard of that kind of rumor.
I saw
They
it.
want more positions.
Somebody wrote it on his page, but I you know, I don't think that could be the case.
Hmm.
I don't think so. Even if you want that position, what is it going to help you with?
I think it gives them more bargaining power. It gives them more assurance that they are indeed in this particular government.
Does
And
it
that
reflect?
if we give them that position, then they can dish it out to Western Kenya or to Kisii region, where they didn't give anything.
I don't think those are just propaganda. I don't think so.
Anyway, my feeling is that the handshake was a ceasefire for survival for William Ruto's government. And 2027, it might not, maybe it might not even last long. The ceasefire might be broken very, very soon. And ODM will start going for mandamano. Maybe the script is written that way. I've heard people saying that. Uh,
Let me. This is what I think.
yeah.
Let me tell you what I think.
So they will be undermining for what?
Hakuna kitu kama hiyo. This is what I think, because
Mm.
I'm trying. If you look at the close tie between Raila Odinga and Orengo, how close they are.
Yeah, yeah. Hmm.
They are very close.
Very, very close.
And look at it in terms of legal duties and legal advice and experience. Orengo has it. So that is an asset that Baba would not want to lose. Yeah.
No, okay. With all this chaos within ODM and the handshake
Let,
pressure and all
let me
that,
tell you what is happening.
who is going to benefit?
Nobody is going to benefit, but what is happening is this. This is what I think. I think what Baba is using, because
Mm.
Baba's allowed everybody in ODM to speak their mind.
Hmm.
He's not interfering with Edwin Sifuna, Anyang' Nyong'o, everybody who has his mind. They've left his speech because, like they said, that democracy works. But the main reason for that is to hold his base together. There's somebody who is holding those who are against the broad-based government they're being held by Orengo, Erengo,
Okay.
Sifuna, and Amisi.
Now let me tell you, when we hear Mrs. speak,
Yeah.
he speaks what is in his mind and is not coerced by anybody, and he did not consult Raila Odinga.
Yes.
Now, there are three groups within ODM. The group led by youthful MPs movement, they are rebels within the party. They are rebels within the party. And then there is this group of power brokers like Oburu Odinga, Junet Mohammed, and all that. Those are power brokers within uh, who are negotiating with William Ruto on the side.
Yeah.
That is why you get his brother being appointed in IBC and all that, things like that. Now, the youthful movement within ODM, people like Babu Owino, that kind of group, Sifunas, that kind of group, their kind of politics is the same, but they don't resonate very well with the power brokers group of Junet Mohammed. They don't resonate very well with the Mbadis who are in government. They don't resonate with these people. That is why I tell you there's a danger that if Raila continues to have all these three factions in his group, going to 2027 elections, kitapasuka mara tatu ama mara mbili.
I don't think so. I
Yeah,
think
just give me your point why you don't. And viewers at home, if you think that Brother Ben is correct, please leave a comment there. If you think that our analysis is top notch, Pia, if you think that, give us your opinion, any opinion. Kama pia ni matusi, pia tunayakubali, lakini
un,
upunguze tu kidogo. Tulikuwa nasema punguza tu kidogo.
uh,
Kama unapenda majadiliano, pia toa maoni yako. Ukiwa na swali, post that question there on the YouTube page, and then we will be able to discuss your point.
unajua
Pia
mimi kwa maoni yangu naona
mm,
kuwa wale ambao wako na wako na fikra tofauti, ama wale ambao wanaunga na wale hawaungi, au tu ni wa ODM tu, ni siasa tu, kwa sababu unazungumzia wale waseme kwamba viongozi ambao ni wa vijana ambao labda wanaona wako katika hiyo kikundi chao, lakini je, wanaweza kufika mahali watoke, waseme kwamba sasa sisi tumechoka na uongozi na tumechoka na mwendo ambao chama imechukua, wacha sisi tuanze chama chetu? Do you think Babu Owino can just leave ODM today, right now, because he feels that, okay, we do not support the broad-based government? Because they've always said that. So what is happening is that those who are not supporting broad-based government and the leadership of ODM is not questioning them, is one. Those are holding the fan base of Baba. Siku ile watakuja kusema kwamba walisema hivi, sasa wacha leo mimi nimekubali kitu ilikuwa mbaya, the reconciliation will not take even sawa, tumekubali tulikosea, wamekuja pamoja. Hiyo ndio maoni yangu.
All right, naona Isaac. Isaac Onyonyi. Isaac, thank you for tuning on to Freak 24 and Nyanza Pulse. Karibu sana, give us your opinion on what what a poor this quote. What are you saying? What are you saying, Isaac? I know you don't like the opinions here because it depends on where your bread is buttered. But here is where we say the truth. Here is where we ensure that the general public get to know the truth without fear. But if you have fear, utakuwa umenyamaza tu huko. Wewe zidi kupika. Hebu mjibu bwana huyu jamaa. Rafiki yangu Isaac.
Anyoni Isaac, no, huwezi mjibu kwa sababu unajua siasa watu wako na mafikra tofauti. Saa zingine labda kuna venye yeye mwenyewe alikuwa anaona labda tunaweza ongea kulingana na pale ambao matarajio yake labda ingekuwa. lakini tunatafutiana kisiasa, na maoni ya mtu tunaichukua na tunaipokea kwa moyo mzuri, kwa sababu ni mjadala, watu wanajadiliana.
Anauliza swali. I don't know what the governor said what the governor said and he said. What do you mean?
You
We
know,
know.
I think like wenye tulikuwa tunazungumzia tukuzungumza yale governor alisema, lakini sisi tulikuwa tunazungumzia ukatili wa siasa ambao ipo katika eneo la Homabay County.
Wacha nimwelezee bwana Isaac, kwa sababu sisi tunafuata news kabisa, tunafuata news ya ndani. Gavana alisema hivi, alisema wale wote walishambulia bwana deputy governor, polisi wa make sure wamekuwa arrested, na ni tukio mbaya zaidi. Ni yapi? Hatujasema. Tumesema hayo yote, lakini pia tumesema ile kitengo inaitwa reinforcement katika mahali, katika hiyo idara ambayo ya county government, they need to do something about it. Either the locals should demand that it be banned, because our youths are being used badly to disrupt function for other people who don't really align to the deputy governors, to the governor or the deputy governor. So they are both fighting each other. So that is the problem in Homabay. But if you think that it is okay to attack the governor, then please give us a reason why it is okay for people to attack the governor with guns.
Okay, kuna rafiki yetu hapa, hebu enda hapo chini.
Anaitwa nani?
Anaitwa Eric Avran. Eric, subscribe to Brother Benson. Anasema angalia hiyo ya pili tu, comment ya pili chini ya mwisho. Yeah, anasema
still aligned to Baba.
No, let me tell you something, Eric. Unajua,
sema.
Unajua, ukiangalia siasa kuna vitu vingi ambapo unaangalia kwa siasa. Yeah? Wacha nimpetie tu history, kwa sababu nasema kwamba nadhani kama Orengo na ambao wandani ambao wanapinga swala hii swala kubwa ya broad based government, ni kama ni strategy ambao labda wanatumia watu wasitoke ODM, kwa sababu utapata kwamba wakati Sifuna anataka kuongea, kuna watu ambao wanamshangilia kabisa, na hata ukienda kwa mtandao ukiona saa zile anaongea, na kama hiyo kipindi iko live, wakati anaongea unaona kama nini inaenda juu, namba zinaenda juu. Yeah? Na unajua anakemea sana wale ambao wanaunga serikali. Yeah? Na unapata kama kuongea hivyo, kuna wale wa ODM ambao wanafanya nini? Wanafurahia, lakini wataki kutoka. Wawezi toka ODM. Unaona? Orengo akiongea vile vile, lakini hakuna siku yenye utaona Orengo ametoka ODM. Hata Raila mwenyewe nadhani ni kuchangamua vile, just to analyze the politics. I don't think like right now that Raila and Orengo can part ways. It is not very easy, especially Raila, Orengo and Nyong'o. You know, they cannot part ways. But to me, what I think maybe what those who are opposing broad-based government are holding in brief the fan base of ODM until 2027, when they will be criticizing this. But immediately we reach that 2027, because based on what Oburu has said, do you think that all that president wants to actualize, he can actualize within 2 years, right now? Can it actualize them in 2 years? So which means what Oburu is looking for, sometimes it might not actualize. And what is going to be the end result? The end result is going to be, no, we supported you, but you've not done the development the way we want. So what is going to happen? They reconcile among themselves, and all their fan base are going to come together and say, let's support Baba. This is the right time for you to be the president. What will happen? So wale watu watakuja. So that is what I think. I'm not supporting it, but I'm looking at it that way, that hii kusukumana hii ni siasa.
well, brother Ben, silence is consent.
Mm.
When people like my good brother Onyonyi decides to keep quiet and be silent, they agree that the violence in Homabay is a good thing. Is a good thing, and they can't speak up.
Mm.
When and I think that is Eric's concern.
Yeah.
That is Eric's concern. Uh, when we keep quiet and there is a lot of violence happening in where we come from, in Nyanza, then we agree and we are part of that violence, and it is okay. For me, I say it is not okay. The youth
Yeah.
should not be used at any given time. The issues of handouts should stop,
Mm.
and political competitions should be made healthier. A long time ago, Pius Dero nimemwona hapo Nyanza News Network. Karibu sana, karibu sana, karibu sana, tuko
Yeah.
pamoja,
Sasa huyu
tumekuja,
Pius Dero
tumeshukuru.
tutampata aje mzalendo?
Huyu bwana Dero huyu
Eh.
bwana Dero ni mngwana, yuko kwa mtandao, huyu anaishi kwa mtandao. Yeye enda Nyanza News Network, ukienda Nyanza News Network inbox Pius Dero, na pia ukienda zaidi I can
Mhm.
give you his number kama unataka Pius Dero. Pius Dero ni Nyanza News Network, pale pia wanachambua news. Tofauti ya Nyanza News Network na Nyanza Pulse ni kidogo sana. Sisi
Nyanza News,
tunaingia katika maneno yenyewe ya pale
Nyanza
ndani
Nyanza
Nyanza News Network, Nyanza News Network, hiyo
Facebook or
ndio.
where?
Check on it on Facebook. On Facebook you'll get Nyanza News Network.
Oh.
On Facebook utapata Nyanza News Network. Like his page, penda hiyo page yake. Na pia ye pia anasambaza news pia ile inafanyika kule sehemu za Kenya na Nyanza sana sana. But anyway, we are just about to wind up our show today, and it has been a good discussion, especially on the issue of violence that is happening in Nyanza, and we are telling the ODM party it is time that the party leader come up with the measures to deal with these goons. And I say it on this platform and many times. Are these people calling themselves lions and lioness? Then it's high time KWS round them up and they're taken to game parks. We don't want lions and lioness molding us
Those
each
are
and every
figurative
time.
languages, brother.
Yeah, no, it is high time. It is high time that
Mm.
KWS kujeni mchukue masimba zenyu mpeleke kwa mbuga,
Mm.
hawawezi ishi na watu. So
Yeah.
kama binadamu anajiita yeye ni simba, sasa wewe mbona unasema ati hiyo ni language mbaya? Hapana, mtu
Mm.
amesema yeye ni simba, yeye ni simba.
Mm.
Yeah, so yeye ni simba. But anyway, let's a quick one, brother
Mhm.
Ben.
Yeah.
A quick one, even as we wind up.
Mm.
The Kindiki,
Mm.
Kindiki, is he still in office, or there are processes to kick him out?
Um,
Kithure Kindiki, the deputy president of Kenya.
you see, the issue of Kithure Kindiki is kind of like complicated, and I've been listening to the legal minds, because first thing that I usually say, I do not have any legal background, especially when it comes to matters to do with the law, but I can speak as somebody who has a little bit knowledge on
Yeah.
how you read the Constitution. It's 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 still something that I would say this.
Mm-hmm.
Constitutionally, when you look constitutionally,
Mm-hmm.
he should be out of the office. He should not be the holder of that office. But
Mm-hmm.
factually, it cannot happen based on the political terrain that we have.
Why?
That is what I can say. Constitutionally, you feel like there's that a sense of knowing or a sense of understanding that even him himself is a legal mind. He knows that, yeah, because
Mm-hmm.
maybe to go further, because there are so many questions that are being asked. One, where we have reached or where we are, because one, there was a Kerugoya court that put the order, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
and there was another court in Nairobi that also put order to stop the process by the Senate to impeach Rigathi Gachagua. So there were how many orders? So these
Mm-hmm.
cases were brought together in Nairobi and combined together when they were consolidated.
Mm-hmm.
And now the bench that was appointed to look into the matter or to hear the case, now we are told that they were appointed unconstitutionally. Yeah. So it tells you the appointment of the bench that decided on Rigathi Gachagua or even lifting the conservatory orders, it was unconstitutional. They acted outside the law because the person who appointed them, the law did not give them power to do so. So what
Yeah,
does it mean?
you see, so long as this, so long as the deputy president is still in office and has not resigned, and was was appointed legally, was appointed legally, and so long as the courts have pronounced that Gashagwa impeachment was illegal and irregular, then
No,
it is high time. It was illegal and irregular. Everything else that happened within that process is null and void. That is the ruling.
where
So,
you don't understand. There's something here we are disagreeing with you, and
mm,
maybe Pius Dero can help us. You know what is in contention right now? It's not about the impeachment of Rigathi Gachagua. What is in contention is the bench that was constituted. That is what is the ruling was all about.
the bench that was constituted was illegal, and whatever it came up
Yes.
with
Yeah.
that impeached Rigathi Gachagua,
Yeah.
everything else remains illegal. Everything, you
So
see, whatever happened, listen, whatever
yeah.
happened, that is why they have given the CJ 14 days to reconstitute another bench. All
Yes.
right.
Yeah.
But
So
in the meantime, what had happened and why are they reconstituting? And there is no, they are not going back to address the ruling by the Court of Appeal. They
true.
are saying that the judiciary, judicial determination
Mhm.
of Gashagwa will be
Mhm.
determined in the next 14 days when the CJ constitutes another bench.
So my question to you is, what is the status of conservatory orders, the two conservatory orders? What is the status of those two conservatory orders?
Now they still remain
So which means as we speak right now, the office of the deputy president is held by Gashagwa.
legally. Listen to this.
Mm,
Legally, Kindiki is in office. Legally, yes, legally is in office. Legally, after this ruling, if we were to follow the law to the latter, yeah,
mm, mm,
the only decent thing that Kindiki would have done as being a lawyer is to
mm,
resign
mm,
or quit the office or
mm,
contest the
mm.
ruling.
Yep.
You understand? Or
Yep.
appeal for to the Supreme Court to address that particular issue.
So
That is my opinion.
let me ask you again. This is another question. Let's say that they appeal and Supreme Court is going to hear the case. Where that does one put the deputy CJ? Will
Mhm.
she recuse herself?
The deputy CJ, whatever she did, And this is why the case brought by Abdul Nasir and one this other lawyer is called one senior counsel who
Nelson Harvey.
Nelson Harvey,
Mm,
uh,
mm,
saying that these judges ought to be investigated,
okay.
gives them a lot of strength, because what Philomena and Milu did, she knew very well that whatever she was doing was under pressure, and she was doing something very, very illegal. What they didn't know is that how far could Rigiji stretch all this, So
Yeah.
now the buck stops in the Chief Justice office. Do you work with somebody who is undermining your authority, or what do you do? What do you do? The JESC should start investigating this lady.
No, but this is the I think from point of knowledge, I don't know whether it is true. This was administrative.
What do you mean administrative? The
Um,
law is very clear. There's nothing like even if you are doing administrative work, you have to follow the law. Did she follow the law? The answer
okay.
is no. So we leave it there. The answer is no. For lawyers up there at home, please come and help us interpret this. But
No,
the
tomorrow.
answer remains
To,
no. Brother
tomorrow.
Ben, is there any other matter that you think that we have not touched this evening, so
No.
that we touch?
No, we are just winding up. But tomorrow, I'm reaching out to another legal mind. Tomorrow, I might ask those questions, and we will get the result. But the only problem I have is that if you listen to those legal minds, each and every person interpret it depending from your factions. If you are on president side, you tend to give legal view that favors the president. If you're on this other side, if you're on the Gashagwa side, you tend to give that which favors the Gashagwa. So that is something I don't know.
All right, Brother Ben, is that your final remark?
No, my final remarks is this, especially to our good leaders, those we call our leaders. Let us do politics. Kwa Kiswahili tunasema tuseme siasa ya sera ama tufanye siasa ya sera, tusifanye siasa ya ghasia. Unaona, tujiheshimu. Unaona, tushindane kwa hoja. Kuja useme kwamba mimi kama hapa, mimi hiyo ndio kitu nafanya hivi na hivi, tukuje tuzungumze, wananchi waamue. Lakini ile hali inakuja mpaka viongozi ambao labda watu ambao tunawaita viongozi ndio wanashughulika na mambo ya uhuni, labda kununua vijana wakuwe wafanye vurugu. Haisaidii hayo, haijengi nchi ama hizo
Haijengi kabisa, haijengi
mimi
kabisa.
mimi sijawahi ona nchi ambayo itakuwa ama nchi ambayo kitaendelea ama tu kiongozi ambao ataendelea ukiwa wewe ni mtu unajimwambafai na wewe ni mtu ambaye anahusika sana na mambo ya ghasia. Haileti sifa, haileti sifa mzuri. Hata kama wewe ni baba, haileti sifa mzuri kwamba wewe popote uliko ni vita tu. Mtu lazima
Aha.
auliwe ama mtu akatwe mkono ama mtu afanyiwe hivi. Unaona, hiyo si ubabe, hiyo si uongozi, hiyo ni uongozi ya kikatili.
Haya, umesikia katika Africa 24 na Brother Ben Media that hiyo ni uongozi wa ukatili. To the people of Homabay, silence is consent. Demand answers, demand leadership that protects life, not just positions. Thank you for watching. I am Zalendo, and this has been Africa 24's Frontline Politics. Stay informed, stay vigilant. Power belongs to the people. Yani, power belongs to the people. Power belongs to the people. You have the power. They have the money. You have the power. Use that power wisely. Don't be compromised. Good morning, and see you later in the evening. Thank you.